All right, let's dive into something fun today, all right? We're talking all about cartooning and, that whole getting paid to draw thing. Who wouldn't want that, right?
It does have a certain appeal, doesn't it?
Right, like getting paid to just doodle all day. But I'm sure there's more to it, right?
Oh yeah, there's definitely more to it than meets the eye, like any creative field.
Okay, well, that's why we've got RoleCatcher's career guide to, break it all down. So, first things first, what does a cartoonist actually do all day?
That's a great question. And, the guide really gets into the details here. It's not always, sitting in a cafe with a big sketchbook just waiting for inspiration.
So it's not all fun and games.
Well, there's definitely fun to be had, but it's a lot of research too,
Hmm.
especially if you're into social commentary, current events, that kind of thing.
Oh, right. Keeping up with the news and all that?
Yeah, exactly. You got to stay informed to make those, sharp observations that make people think.
Makes sense. You got to know what you're talking about, right?
Right. And actually, the guide mentions this crazy stat. 54% of a cartoonist's skills are tied to reading comprehension.
54%. Seriously.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. That's way more than I expected. So you're not just drawing, you're like a journalist who also draws.
It's true. A good cartoonist has to process info, understand different sides of an issue, and then make it all work visually. It's really engaging with the world.
That's pretty cool, actually. So you need that creative side, but also a sharp mind to do this, which I guess is why being your own boss, setting your own hours, that must be a nice perk.
Oh, definitely. RoleCatcher talks a lot about that kind of autonomy, that creative freedom. It's a big draw for a lot of people,
Yeah.
but we can't, romanticize it too much either.
Right, right. There's got to be a downside. What's the reality check here?
Well, one of the biggest is competition. There are a lot of talented people out there all going for the same opportunities. And then income, it can be really unstable, especially early on.
Oh, yeah. Not all sunshine and rainbows then.
And get ready to hustle.
Yeah.
Self-promotion is like a full-time job on top of everything else.
Okay, yeah. Starting to sound a little less cafe in Paris and more, grind, grind, grind. No.
Right. But this is where things get interesting. Because while the traditional paths are still there, technology has totally changed the game.
Ah, yeah. RoleCatcher mentioned that. Something about digital tools changing things. What did they mean by that?
It's not just pen and paper anymore, though those still have their place. But digital tools are essential now, from sketching to color, even to publishing.
Oh, wait. Instead of carrying a portfolio around, you could just send a link.
Pretty much.
Wow. That changes everything, huh?
It really does. It makes things, a lot more accessible for a lot of people.
Right, because not everyone's got connections to a big publisher or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone with, internet access and the drive to learn can share their work.
That's really cool, actually.
It is. But, and this is a big but,
Uh-oh. Here comes the butt.
how do you actually stand out? Because now, it's not just a few people submitting to the same places. It's like everyone and their dog is putting art online.
That's a good point. It's easy to get lost in the shuffle. So how do you stand out?
Adaptability. That's the key word.
Adaptability, huh? What do you mean by that?
Well, think about it. We're not just talking print comics anymore. There's web comics, animations, even VR stuff.
Oh, right. It's like a million different things now.
Right. So the cartoonists who can do it all, who can tell stories in all these different ways, they're the ones who are going to have an edge.
So it's not enough to just be a good artist. You got to be tech whiz, too.
It's not about being a whiz necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
but comfortable with tech? Absolutely. The guide even mentions Clip Studio Paint, Procreate. Those are becoming pretty standard now.
I've heard of those. Those are the ones that are specifically for digital art, right?
Yep. And they're amazing. You can get incredible details, so much flexibility, and it's just way more efficient.
So it's faster, too, huh? Makes sense.
And it makes collaboration easier too.
Oh, collaboration. Like working with other artists.
Definitely. And writers, animators, even marketing people. It takes a village sometimes.
So even if you're working on your own webcomic, you still got to be a team player.
Pretty much. Those soft skills, communication, being open to feedback, they matter a lot.
Okay, so you need the art skills, the tech skills, and the people skills. This is a lot.
It's a lot of hats to wear. But that's why the guide goes into the whole career path from entry level all the way up.
Yeah, because where do you even start? It's not like you just become a famous cartoonist overnight.
Right. And a lot of times it starts with internships, assistant gigs, that kind of thing.
So you got to pay your dues, kind of like any other craft. Right?
Exactly. It's about learning the ropes, building your style, meeting people,
And then, like, as you get more experience, you get to do more.
Exactly. You move up to junior roles, mid-level, and eventually you're leading your own projects, pitching ideas.
Okay, now that's the dream. But I did notice the guide talked a lot about portfolios.
Yeah.
Like, it seems really important what makes a good one. Like, how do you stand out when everybody has one?
That's where strategy comes in. It's like your visual resume, right?
Right.
But it's not just showing your best work, it's telling a story.
Ooh, a story. I like that.
Yeah, it needs focus, a style that's consistent, and it has to show what you can do. Realistic stuff, caricatures, black and white color, the more you can do, the better.
So, like, range is important.
Huge.
Yeah.
But also quality over quantity, always.
Right, like a small portfolio, but everything in it is top-notch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The guy talks about choosing pieces that are visually impressive, sure, but also they should make you feel something. Tell a story, have a unique point of view, you're connecting with someone, you know.
It really is like a visual resume when you put it like that.
Yeah.
But okay, so you've got the skills, you've got this amazing portfolio, but are there even like enough places for all these cartoonists to actually work?
That's a good question.
Mm.
And it might surprise you, but that's actually one of the most encouraging things about being a cartoonist right now.
Really? How so?
Well, remember we were talking about visual content just like exploding everywhere?
Right.
That means more opportunity.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like every website needs graphics, every app has little illustrations.
Exactly. Think about how many times you've like scrolled right past an article just because there was a wall of text.
Oh, all the time.
Right. But if that same article had like a funny image, a comic breaking things up,
Way more interesting.
more engaging,
Yeah.
you're more likely to actually read it.
Totally. And people always say a picture's worth 1,000 words or something, right?
And in this case, it's probably worth like 1,000 clicks too. But that's not even everything. The guide talks about animation, explainer videos, even designing characters for games.
Oh, wow. It's really not just about, like, newspaper comics anymore, huh?
Not even close. There's even like VR stuff happening.
Wild. So the job market's actually, what, growing? That's pretty cool.
It's a good time to be a cartoonist. But here's the thing, and the guide stresses this a lot. You got to be adaptable.
So like you were saying before, always learning new stuff.
Exactly. Can't just master one program, one style, and call it a day.
You're like a, what do you call them? A chameleon.
Huh. I like that.
Right. Blending in everywhere.
That's a great way to put it. You got to be able to, adapt your style, try new things, stay fresh, all that.
So we've gone from doodling in cafes to becoming cartoon chameleons. That's pretty cool. I gotta say, this deep dive has totally changed how I see this whole career.
It's more than just drawing, isn't it?
Way more. It's about being curious, being a good storyteller, and like you said, always ready for something new.
And a good internet connection helps too.
All right, can't forget that. But seriously, this was awesome. We talked about research, tech skills, portfolios, even finding your own style. That's a lot.
It's a journey.
It really is. And I guess for anyone listening who's thinking about this, that's what it's all about, right? It's a journey.
Absolutely. You're always learning and growing as an artist.
So embrace the challenge, find your people, and just keep drawing those awesome cartoons. Great advice to end on, don't you think?
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time.